Hi, this is Paul in the 619. Welcome to my channel. So what makes a good villain? Especially what makes a good Dungeons and Dragons villain? Well, villains, to make a good villain, that villain doesn't need to be the strongest, doesn't need to be the smartest, but they have to be hard to kill, hard to defeat. I think the bigger challenge for your party to defeat, I think the greater the victory. So, for example, if you look at the classic villain, they look like a villain. Another example is the Disney villains. Every Disney villain, if you look at the Disney villain, they look like a villain. So let's think about it this way. What about a villain that doesn't look like a villain? Someone that is close to the party and they betray the party, making them the villain. I think that's something that that would, like, right there, that would get the party, on board. To have a trusted ally or friend betray the party. That's instant. That'd be like an instant villain right there. So kind of backtracking on unassuming villains. The villain could be a shapeshifter, a being that could change its appearance, or a mind flayer that can disguise itself with illusions to be a old lady or a fair maiden or a beggar on the street. So for me, I think the best villains are the reoccurring villains. And I think a villain that you get like a glimpse of, and as your players play several sessions, they get more and more clues from of the villain. So the villain has to have some kind of some mystery behind it. Like, for example, someone that you thought who was an ally or a friend betrays you, and then you find out later that that person wasn't what you initially thought. So I think the villain has to be shrouded in some kind of mystery. And as you guys as a group, play your sessions, things come to light, and the party realizes that who they thought was somebody is someone totally different. So I said in the beginning that the villain doesn't have to be the strongest or the smartest, but I do believe they need to have qualities, all those qualities. You want a villain that's strong, is intelligent, calculating. If you have a villain that's calculating, that will make the game even better. Because the thing is that you want the party to be challenged. You want it to make it really hard. You want them to really not just dislike, but hate this villain. That it's like when they play the game, that's like their main motivation, is to find this villain and defeat him. So the villain has to be a pain in the ass. So they definitely have to have some sort of advantage or advantages over the party to make it challenging. So this villain would know all of the party's strengths and weaknesses, and use that knowledge to the party's disadvantage. And the party is the exact opposite. They're not going to know all the strengths and weaknesses of the main villain until they actually get into a fight. And an idea that I've had and I've actually used in games is for the villain to actually defeat the party and not outright kill them, but like leave them like with one hit point, or almost a TPK, but actually let them live. And so, I mean, just that alone, when the party is fully healed, the next thing they're going to want to do is they want to go back out and they want to find this villain and fight again. So that's always a good hook, so, and that's the whole thing. I think is you have to get this this villain to be real nasty. You gotta, and that's the thing. You gotta know your players, and you gotta know your players' characters and what their motivations are. And as a DM, you want to press all those buttons because you definitely want to get them all like riled up. So your main villain should have different motivations than the everyday encounter that the party would have. For example, as the party adventures, they're going to encounter like trolls. Trolls are pretty much, they have a never-ending hunger. All they want to do is eat the party's flesh, or bandits that the party meet on the road. The party is just looking. The bandits are looking just to rob the party and kill them. So there's no witnesses. But your main villain that the party faces should have grander plans, a grander motivation. For example, like taking over a kingdom, overthrowing a king and taking over his lands. Like the biggest one is taking over the whole world. So those are the kind of motivations, like eradicating a certain race, like killing all the elves in all the lands, something like that. And they should also, there should be a reason why they want to achieve this. Like, for example, the villain that wants to eradicate all the elves, maybe when he was a kid, he was bullied by elves, or even worse, his parents were accidentally killed by elves. So to his eyes, every elf is bad and needs to be executed. Even though that wouldn't be the case, because everyone's individually different. So there's evil elves, good elves, but he just wants to kill all elves. So the last thing I'm going to touch on is that the main villain should be unique. This villain shouldn't be like every other villain that they run into. There has to be something about this villain that when they see something or hear something, it's kind of like the calling card of the villain. Like, for example, say this villain is in a he is the leader of Assassin's Guild, and they have a symbol. So, you know, and throughout the party's adventures, every time they see this symbol, they know that it's this main villain's Assassin's Guild, and that it's related to this villain. And it should also be like clues, like when they see this symbol, that they know that they're getting closer and closer to the main villain. Or, you know, the villain has a distinct signature, like, for example, like a cane. You know, the main villain has a limp and it walks with a cane. So every time they hear like a cane hitting hitting the floor, in their head they're thinking, oh, it's the villain, the main villain. So definitely they have to stand out. You know, if they have to be more fleshed out than most encounters. Yeah, definitely has to be interesting. There has to be something that's out of the ordinary, that makes this villain unique from every other encounter or bad guy that they fight. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on a good a Dungeons and Dragons villain. I don't, you know, I don't know what else I could think of, but if there is anything that I've missed that you think that can be added to this conversation, yeah, just leave it down in the comments below. But as always, I wanted to say thank you for visiting my channel, watching this video. If you found this video worthwhile, if I could get a like, that'd be very cool. And if I could get a sub, if you haven't subbed already to this channel, that'd be amazing, and I'd be very thankful. So thank you again, and peace, guys. Happy gaming. Take care.